The mobile phone business is so brilliant that the whole world mistakenly think that Huawei is a mobile phone manufacturer. It was not until the birth of 5G technology that its true face was made public. It turned out that as early as the 4G era, Huawei had already occupied half of the European and American communication equipment markets. Afterwards, the successive birth of Huawei's Kirin chip and Harmony OS system completely made Western countries feel the pressure and then launched a series of special care. Fortunately, Huawei's technology is independently developed, and these external factors will not cause destruction. Sex blow. Now that Huawei's 5G has been recognized all over the world, any country that wants to have a well-established network cannot avoid Huawei's technical patents. After successively winning orders from Ethiopia, Brazil, Saudi Arabia and other countries, Huawei, what does it mean to win orders from Central Asian countries? The return of the Huawei King. Under the continuous upgrade of chip regulations, Huawei not only lost the foundry of Kirin chips, but also blocked all channels for obtaining chips, which had a considerable impact on its business, with a sharp drop in mobile phone shipments and a decline in total revenue. Obviously, fortunately, in the face of such high standard restrictions, Ren Zhengfei did not give in, but insisted on investing no less than 20% of the total revenue in research and development every year. After going through the most difficult year of 2022, Huawei is very hopeful that the king will return in 2023. As Yu Chengdong said, continuous innovation is Huawei's greatest advantage. But if you want to continue to innovate, you must have sufficient research and development funds. Huawei not only did it, but it did it very well. In the past 10 years, Huawei has invested a total of 845 billion yuan in research and development funds, ranking among the top 5 in the world from the top 50 in the world. In 2022, it has invested a total of 138.6 billion yuan in research and development funds, accounting for 22.4% of its total revenue. Ranking 4th in the world, far surpassing Apple and Samsung. Relying on high R&D investment, Huawei has achieved very good results in various fields, and the most dazzling one is naturally the 5G communication market. Even under relevant restrictions, the European and American markets are occupied by Nokia and Ericsson. Ranked first in the global market share for many years, the most important thing is that Huawei is the only equipment manufacturer that can provide end-to-end services. Huawei has proved its innocence through various channels, and there is no need to explain the so-called network security issues too much. In the face of efficient and cheap 5G network solutions, the United Kingdom, which previously threatened to completely dismantle the equipment, has begun to regret it. Due to the long-term delay in the demolition progress, cooperation may be resumed at any time, and the next step depends on the attitude of the United States. Many people only know that Huawei is a company that sells consumer electronic devices such as mobile phones. In fact, consumer electronics is part of Huawei's business, and its real core business is communication. Since the consumer electronics business has undergone changes, the operator business has become Huawei's largest source of revenue, and the deep plow layout that has been established for more than 30 years has finally been reflected in the communications market. Some countries have made their own choices, dismantling old equipment like the United States, and even ignoring the importance of fairness and open competition, handing over 5G commercial contracts to Ericsson and Nokia, making the 5G commercial contracts of these two communication giants from lagging behind to overtaking. Huawei's communication business foundation is still there, and it still occupies the world's first communication equipment market share. Moreover, the annual R&D investment of 100 billion yuan has allowed Huawei to master the hardcore communication capabilities, which has been recognized by many countries, such as Turkmenistan. Huawei fired the first shot in the new year and successfully won a large order in Turkmenistan. Specifically, Huawei and Turkmenistan signed a cooperation agreement on fixed network coverage. Turkmenistan approved the local procurement of Huawei's equipment, software, licenses, and technical support contracts to improve the fixed network coverage in the local states. Huawei won orders from Central Asian countries. According to the news on January 14, Huawei has successfully won a communication order from Turkmenistan and will help this Central Asian country improve its fixed-line network coverage and provide comprehensive technical support for equipment, software, installation, and commissioning. Although this Central Asian country is not big, it is considered a big order to hand over all the network layout to us. This also fully demonstrates the trust in Huawei, which means that the world's communication technology structure is no longer the United States. After all, the core technology mastered by Huawei has been recognized, and it can independently complete the network layout. And all this is due to Ren Zhengfei's courage. In the case of 5G, chips and other fields being restricted, there are no compromises or issues of principle. The research and development funds have also led to the rise of the follow-up HarmonyOS system and Kirin chips. It is a pity that domestic industrial manufacturing cannot keep up with Huawei's R&D pace. Ren Zhengfei once said helplessly, "The chips developed by Huawei cannot be manufactured in China." But Huawei people were not discouraged, but turned grief into strength and opened up the field. Deep cultivation in the country, combined with domestic high-quality semiconductor companies, has opened the layout of the debeutification industrial chain. In the field of chips, Huawei is divided into two steps. In addition to deepening the layout of silicon-based chips, it is also committed to getting rid of the troubles of lithography technology. At present, it has made many achievements in chip stacking technology, superconducting quantum chips, and photonic chip technologies. As long as one of the core technology patents is commercialized on a large scale, you can get rid of ASML's EUV lithography machine. Today's Huawei has turned into peace, and a new scene will usher in 2023. With the strong support of the country and the persistence of Huawei people, the total revenue has stabilized, and Huawei already has full confidence. Those countries and companies that refuse to cooperate will eventually pay the price, and it is essential to pay a large amount of technology patent fees. Huawei's Kirin 9000 chip is the world's first 5nm chip. Its explosive performance once made Apple nervous. Unfortunately, because of the chip regulations, it is facing a temporary suspension of production. As long as it can usher in the return of the Kirin chip, Huawei can handle all difficulties lifting. This is also the most important goal in 2023. What do you think about this?